Welcome, dear friends of peace.
We invite you to come into your heart and enter your sacred space.
Take a moment to feel the divine presence.
Feel that your heart is illuminated from within.
Deeply feel and radiate the light and love in your heart.
From this place, make the intentions that our hearts and the hearts of all are filled with light and love.
May every heart be radiant with joy.
And may the entire globe be engulfed with peace.
Well, Joel Cross, I want to welcome you to this very special Heartfulness event, celebrating the International Day of Peace. My name is Jan Marie. I'm joining you today from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm one of 15,000 certified volunteer Heartfulness meditation trainers from across the globe. Joel is a Grammy-nominated songwriter, a certified meditation teacher, a life coach, and a poet. He's just released a new album called Love and Liberation. It's lovely. And he's authored and released his beautiful Rise Journal, which is a journal for reflection and self-actualization. So welcome to you, Joel.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. So nice to be here.
Great. I'm wondering if you might be willing to start us off with that daily greeting that I look forward to every day.
Sure. Hello, beautiful soul. How's your heart? May the presence of your heart be honored and cherished by you. Much love and light.
Many years ago, my very, very wise Heartfulness mentor and guide told me that the heart speaks. So it's plain for anybody to see that you're having a really nice chat with your heart right now.
Yes, always.
Can you describe what's happening for you in that moment?
I think what I've discovered in my own meditation, heartfulness practice, connecting with my heart center, is that it is always speaking, but we are rarely listening. So, as I ask that question, I connect to a space that I've grown quite familiar with in my practice, and when I close my eyes, I can literally see my heart in bloom. I see it open, and I can feel its energy, its love, exuding from its center. And then I hear very clearly whatever the blessing might be for that moment or the reminder. So I think I also get asked, do you prepare these, the blessings, the last part of it? And no, never. It's always just what is connected and present in that moment.
Most people don't really arrive at the kind of depth that that you are. I'm wondering if you might be willing to just talk with us a little bit about your story. Who's Joel? Who's Joel with the soul?
Yeah, I definitely have a story. I've come to recognize the greatest wisdom is always experience. And my life experience has been being raised in a big family. I have 7 siblings.
Wow.
My parents were very religious, from the Christian tradition. My dad, a Baptist preacher. So, the common question in our household was like, what is spirit saying? So there was always this query to kind of connect and tap in. But, as I got older, there were some things in that tradition that were very challenging and troubling for me. They didn't resonate with who I felt like I authentically was. And so there was a disconnect from my family for a while as I was reconnecting to my truth. They didn't understand my departure from that tradition. And so there was a lot of turmoil there. One of my greatest fears was to not be accepted by my parents. For a long time, I was, the perfect son, so to speak, the baby boy, right? And now I'm kind of the black sheep. And, was kind of an outcast for a long time as I was just, we were all trying to figure each other out. there just came a moment in my suffering where I intuitively, something came out from my practice into my life. It took hold of me instead of me seeking it. And I remember standing in the kitchen, and I surrendered my need for suffering. I surrendered my need to be a victim. I surrendered my need to be superior than anybody else in my ego. And I surrendered my need to see any other being as anything less than divine. And in that moment, even though had just been experiencing some heavy hurt, I felt light. I felt so light, I actually started experiencing joy. I had, I don't know if you ever read Neil Donald Walsh's Conversation with God.
Yeah.
I felt like I had my own version of that, except for me, it was a conversation with Bob. And Bob was an acronym, a playful acronym I felt like I intuited in that moment for the big old beautiful. Just like I was connected and communing with nature. And during that walk, it was like I saw a bird's eye view of our existence. And from that vantage point, I recognized we're all just trying to find grounding from our hurt, from our misunderstandings in this world, so that we can find healing, right? Be clear enough to go through a process where we can actually see those stories and those exchanges more clearly. And from that place, we find transformation, transcending those experiences, creating new experiences, new patterns, new ways of being, evolving into a more heart-filled experience.
Oh my. So I know just from some of what I've learned about you in anticipation of this, that journaling was a huge part of that. And in fact, so much so that you've developed and published the Rise Journal. Can you just talk a little bit about the role that journaling, writing this down, played in this transformation?
You know, growing up, I was a decent student. I didn't have to study much. Then I got to college, and I was a horrible student. And a friend of mine, we called him Chief. That was his nickname. He was a great student, and he said, "Joel, all you have to do is write it down." And he's like, "Just write it down, copy it out of the book, until you can actually write it from your memory." And so I would just write. And a few years later, I was in a moment of a deep heartbreak with a girl I was seeing at the time, and it ended abruptly, and I was hurt, sleepless nights for months. And finally, intuitively, in the middle of the night, I got up, grabbed my college ruled notebook, and just began to intuitively write everything that I was feeling. And about an hour and 20 pages later, I had a perfect night's sleep for the first time. And I was like, okay, I don't know what this journaling thing is about, but I've got to investigate this. As you know, my Rise journal process has 4 parts. And slowly, those parts just kind of unfolded naturally. So I started with the release, which is what that was that night, where I just let everything out that I was feeling or thinking, all that energy, just kind of clear my canvas. And then what happened? I would ask all these questions, the heart questions, right? Which is also connected to the practice. How's your heart is kind of the foundation, but there's so many other heart questions, right? What is my heart longing for? What am I afraid to hear myself say? My heart would speak. And so I would write it down, and that is the S part of the RISE acronym, which stands for self-awareness. Just growing in awareness of that sacred space, of the real wisdom, right, of our core. And then after I was like, I can't leave this time with like heaviness. You know, I didn't want that for myself. So that's where the E came in, to empower myself. I learned about intentions and affirmations through Louise Hay. So that became a strong part of my practice. And over time, I mean, it's been since about 15 plus years now that I've been doing that, and it really transformed my life. And so people started asking me, well, what do you do? And I was like, I do a lot of different things, but like, what is the easiest first step to kind of share with people that has had the most profound impact, and that was the Rise Journal.
Well, just switching gears a little bit, let me tell you how I learned about you. As you know, we're a part of the Heartfulness Institute, and we have people across the globe that are all aligned with this same beautiful intention, and particularly, the essential connection between developing a light and a lightness within ourselves so that we can radiate that out. We call ourselves the community of hearts. And any night of the week, you can tap in and tune in with one of the community of heart members that'll guide us through this process. One of the community of hearts members shared that an Instagram video of you with your greeting with another community of heart member with the note, check this guy out. and then I got it, and immediately I had the experience with you. I started listening to a lot of your music, and wow, what a gift you've been given. I mean, your voice, the expression of your voice, lyrics. And there's a lot of variety.
Thank you.
But this new album that you've released just now in 2022, I think, Love and Liberation, it has a different quality to it. I describe the quality as enchanted. I think anyone with a heart can feel that this is coming from deep within your soul. And I'm curious, who's inspiring you now?
My heart and my higher self. That is where my inspiration comes. I think really somewhere around the beginning of 2020, I felt there was a shift that was going to happen in my life. I had been focused on just music, although all of the spiritual aspects of who I am have always been there, but they weren't always public facing. And I felt like there was going to be a shift. And so much of my process has been about surrender, letting go and realizing that I don't know everything. So I left New York. I was living in New York City, and went back to Texas for a while, stayed with family, was working through some of that disconnect and that discord that had been there to do some deep healing. And in the process, I just knew, I was like, okay, I'm supposed to travel the country and I'm supposed to record in nature. For too long, I've been doing kind of compromising my creative process with bits of myself, but also bits of what I thought I was supposed to do or be. And I told my friends, like, hey guys, I think I'm going to get a field recorder and just find remote locations with great energy. And when I feel the call, I'm just going to press record and play. So I got a camper and went back up to the Northeast from Texas and ended up in Maine. And I saw this road and I just felt the call to follow the trail. Found my way to this beach. The energy was palpable. There was no one there. It was a Sunday morning, like 8 o'clock. Set up my camera and my guitar. All I heard was play. So I just started playing. And that was the foundation of kind of this departure. And that was actually the musical part of Flow.
So when I actually listened to your new album all the way through, and I was so surprised and really delighted that you introduced the whole collection by sharing your personal mission and your personal intention. But you speak of the power of self-love and surrender. You guide us through and ask us to connect with something deep within ourselves as we listen, to open our hearts, quiet our minds, go inward, and rise upward. I don't know of any artist that has sort of helped the listener along in that way to really be able to take in what you're really pouring out from your heart.
About 7 years ago, I had finished a meditation. It was beautiful, beautiful guided meditation. And I was just in the flow state, in that space, right? And I just had like this download, and it was very clear. It's like, what if there was a meditation that didn't necessarily have a linear guide? What if it was just the listening of it immediately brought you to that space so you can connect to your own inner guidance? So I held that intention since that time, kind of coined the phrase poetic resonance meditation, where it kind of paints a picture for you to kind of climb into a space, for you to connect to your own flow, your own self-love experience. And so that's one part. The other part is, as I was doing my own healing work, I reached that point not long after I had that moment with big old Bob and surrendering my need for suffering, and all of those other things. It was a divine inner knowing that the next step of my healing was to help support the healing journey of others. Like and not in a small way, in a very purposeful, intentional, big way. And so as I set that intention, I just surrendered, and I had these songs. And as I would go, some of them, I'd be in a location, something like this, and I'd be like, oh, I love it here. I'm going to play, press my recorder, and go. And I think it's been so affirmed and confirmed from so many people, like you're saying, entering that heart space with me, whether it's on the Instagram post or the music or something else. We all feel that. We can feel that. It's the core of our humanity. Once I learned as an empath to ground and not just receive all of, everybody's everything that maybe I didn't want, I learned that I could also emanate. And so that is something that is important for me with the music.
Oh man, that's beautiful. uh, I think one of the things that comes to mind, particularly since we're here celebrating this important day, this International Day of Peace, it's sort of like how in a world with so much chaos and so much strife, do you make the connection between this self-love that you're describing?
Yeah, the term self-love, I think, gets a bad rap a lot of times because people will assume it's a synonym for selfishness. For me, self-love isn't about me over you. It's recognizing that I see the world as I see myself, right? And so if I'm dealing with a lot of hurt, a lot of the lack of self-love, maybe even self-hatred or unworthiness, then I'm going to receive the world that way. The energy you hold is the energy that will unfold, which is why there is so much discord in the world. But I've discovered as I love myself more, as I'm able to ground and recognize, okay, I'm triggered right now by this occurrence with, this person in my life. Let me tend to me first and figure out why this situation brought up feelings of anger, frustration, discord, turmoil. And usually it's an old story that's ready to be let go of, that isn't serving me well. And in that way, I get to love myself. And in my poem, I am the love of my life. For my purpose is not to outshine another. My purpose has always been to do my share in the shining of us all. For as one shines, so does another. And as I am able to see myself more clearly, it becomes far easier to see you too.
Perfect.
And yeah, I feel like that peace has to start here.
I absolutely love the lyrics from Flow, from your song on your new album, Love and Liberation. And in it, you speak really clearly about universal oneness and harmony, and that each person shines their light to create that reality. I'd love it if you'd play it as a lead into our Community of Hearts meditation for peace that we'll be doing here in just a minute. But before we do, on behalf of Heartfulness and our ever-growing Community of Hearts, I really want to thank you, Joel, for being such a special link in today's intention for global peace. We wish you so much light and love and success in your mission, in our shared mission. And viewers can find you on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, and your website, asoulcalledjoel.com.
Thank you so much for having me.
Our
It's
pleasure.
been a real gift, real pleasure. Thank you.
I feel a pull in our universe at this moment. Pull to be free of the things that are no longer serving us. We'll get glimpses in moments of passion or creative inspiration. That feeling when time is lost and it's as if something has taken over you. And you are no longer the author, but the messenger and scribe. Embrace that feeling now. When we are in those moments, we are shown glimpses of our higher selves. Some call it the universe, God, or spirit guides. Me, I prefer the term flow. Like water, may we effortlessly flow with all of life. Release all that you hold and flow. Surrender, beautiful souls. Let go of trying to control the flow of life in every moment and connect to the higher consciousness of Source. That is when the magic happens. no longer trying to force life, we allow ourselves to connect to the highest expression of our existence, the greatest giver of all. When we are connected to the source of life, it liberates us from ego and the need to force or push. Connected, we simply exist in love, harmony, and light. May we all surrender the things that are no longer serving us, so that we may embody pure love, harmony, and light, and get in the flow like water. For the remainder of this time, let your breath and the frequency of the music and nature be your gateway into your own resonance with flow. And embrace your strength in flexibility, the power of water.
Welcome, everyone. We're so happy you're joining us for the Heartfulness Universal Intention for Peace and Global Harmony. My name is Jan Marie, and I'm joining you from Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'll be leading tonight's intention. The intention for this community of hearts is to contribute to world peace. We bring together as many hearts as possible each night at 9 p.m. to create lightness within and to radiate the feeling of peace and universal love from our hearts. When we do this as a group, we create a synergy that affects the collective consciousness of our planet. Please make yourself comfortable and follow the flow. Gently close your eyes.
Gently bring your attention to your heart. Feel that your heart is illuminated from within. Deeply feel and radiate the lightness and love in your heart. And from your heart, make the intention that our hearts and the hearts of all are filled with lightness and love. May everyone be radiant with joy, and may the entire earth be engulfed with peace. Let's rest together silently with this intention.
intention is complete. When you're ready, gently open your eyes.
Thank you for joining us today in this Heartfulness Intention for Peace. We hope your hearts feel more open and your spirit lighter. It's amazing the difference that just a few minutes of connecting with your heart makes. We invite you to add your heart to this intention to continue to spread peace every Monday through Friday at 9 p.m. local time. For more information about this peace initiative and other Heartfulness programs, please visit www.heartfulnessinstitute.org/peace-intention. Peace begins with us, so let us be the change we wish to see in the world and continue to promote an atmosphere of peace wherever we go. Let us join our hearts as one and come together as a community of hearts to spread peace. Have a wonderful evening and see you all soon.